What's up, Ellie?
Hi, Dr. John.
What's
How
up?
are you? It's actually Elle.
Oh, Elle. Oh, that's such a beautiful name. I just got caught up in thinking a group of people were trying to create a new town in the state of Indiana. And they were like, I got it. Indiana. Opolis. And they were like, yeah, that sounds great. So unoriginal. All right.
Yeah.
Elle, what's up?
So my question was, how do I heal my relationship with my postpartum body and lose weight from a place of self-love?
Oh, man.
Rather than frustration.
Yeah, dude, this is going to be a conversation between the pot and the kettle, my friend. I'm still wrestling with that. Tell me about it. How old are you?
I am 22.
22. How old is your baby?
He's almost 9 months.
Almost 9 months. Tell me all about it.
So my husband and I have been married for almost 2 years.
Okay.
So we found out we were pregnant 6 months into marriage.
Sheesh.
So not a planned pregnancy, but such a blessing.
What'd you say? It was a blessing?
Such a blessing, yeah.
Oh, God. That's what people who are hanging on by their fingernails say. Oh, my gosh, it's such a blessing. And I'm just trying to still be alive. Man, okay.
Yeah.
So
Well,
you got a 20-year-old Ayo, and here we are.
yeah.
Ugh.
Yep.
Okay.
I had just celebrated my 21st birthday, and then we found out we were pregnant. So, so we had our son, and he's awesome. And in a lot of ways, like pregnancy, I feel like gave me some really healthy views on like health and weight and stuff like that. But I'm finding like as more time goes on postpartum, I feel like I see, and I know comparison's bad, but I feel like I see so many women that 9 months in, 9 months out, and they look like just the same before they had a baby or better. And I feel like I just haven't changed all that much. Like I'm only 8 to 10 pounds over my pre-pregnancy weight, which I know isn't a lot, but it's just different, And so
Yeah.
I think I'm just kind of learning how to accept that. And also if I, want to lose weight, how to do that without hating myself into losing that weight.
Yeah, of
You know
course,
what I
of
mean?
course. So, man, I'm going to get into some thin ice here. Postpartum, I'm not gonna go down that road. It is catastrophic. It's real. I've held people who are sobbing. It's real. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Two common themes that I hear from women who are devastated in the throes of postpartum, any number of things. Okay. Two common recurring themes I hear over and over is this idea that I'm supposed to be at home by myself with a baby doing all of this by myself. And anthropologically, that's insanity. It's madness. Women weren't designed, no one's designed for that. So my first question would be, who do you have in your life that is full team L, that you get to laugh with, tell all the crazy things that are happening to your body with, that you can experience life with? That's number one. Number two.
We have a...
Go ahead.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was going to say we have a lot of support. We live really close to family, and my husband's amazing, and he's super supportive. So I do feel like I have a good support system.
Okay, support is different than lonely.
Okay.
My wife knows that I will burn somebody's house down for her. And my wife knows that she can come to me with any news. She knows that I can handle the burdens of X, Y, and Z. She knows that. But I'm not a group of 2 or 3 or 4 close girlfriends that she can go exhale with. It's different.
Right.
And so support is very, very important. The scaffolding and structure is so important. And so is a group of women that you can just text and say, here's what just happened to my body today. And they all laugh at, right?
Mm-hmm.
I remember one time my wife and a friend of hers had children, had babies in very similar times. And her friend was jogging and just ran to the house. And this is a few months after she'd given birth. ran to the house, and she was like, I just peed my pants. And this woman's hilarious. She's just a riot. My wife started laughing, and I was like, what? And I didn't know that. I didn't know. Having somebody that you can text and be like, well, this just is a way to feel seen and known in a different way. Okay, so that's number one.
Right.
Number two, again, anecdata. As the great Andrew Huberman says, I don't see this in any studies. It's just what I keep seeing over and over and over again. That somebody wakes up 9 months, 1 year, 1.5 years after giving birth, having this amazing baby that they love and they wouldn't trade for anything in the world, and they suddenly realize, I don't love the life that, I don't feel alive in my own skin. I don't feel alive in the life that I have. And from that comes a sense of obligation. I have to do this. I have to do this. I have to do this. And then suddenly sex gets put on a chore list. Exercise gets put on a chore list. Feeding myself gets put on a chore list. Putting on makeup and showering gets put on a chore list. Like all these things that used to bring you joy and excitement and aliveness. It's just this thymic. It's just this low level, everything's gray. This low level, here's my life. This is it. And then what's the option? Have another baby? Just do it again, right? And so that'd be my next question for you is, if you peel back all the layers and all of the obligatory, I have to say it's so great, and I have to say my husband's awesome, and I have to say, yeah, I got family. What do you think about the life you're inhabiting? Do you feel alive in your own skin?
I feel like I try to.
That's not the question. That's because, again, that makes it a chore list. It makes it a bunch of a duty list.
Yeah.
Peel back all the things you're supposed to say as a new mom with a good husband and great family support.
I feel like, sorry, I'm going to cry.
You're all right. You're all right.
I feel like it's a lot of work.
Yeah.
And I think it's just hard sometimes, there's just so much to think about.
Elle, it's hard all the time. All the time.
Yeah, it really is. And I do feel like there are so many things that, if I don't keep, running on this treadmill, I'm going to eat it, fall on my face, and this is going to fall apart and that's going to fall apart. And
can I confirm something with you?
Yeah.
You're 100% right.
Yeah.
If you carry all of this on the same treadmill you were running on, you're 1,000% going to fall off and everything will come crashing down. Here's two important truths about that. Number one, 99.999% chance that if everything falls, it'll be all right. Be all right. Number two, you can turn the treadmill off and just climb down. Mm-hmm. What most of us, and again, dude, I didn't have a kid. My first kid was late 20s, I think, maybe even 30. I was old man, okay? Way older than my other buddies. It took me a long time. And I'll tell you this, both with excitement and both with just grief. The life you knew is over. It's over. The rambunctious early 20s, y'all got married young. We're going to have sex all the time. We're going to have no money, but we're going to hang out. We're going to do this, and we're going to be... That's over now. And you got a kid. And it doesn't have to be the end of the story. You get to write whatever comes next. So y'all can still be young and 20 and rambunctious and having sex everywhere. You're going to have less money because you have a kid, right? You could still build this life. It's just going to look different, but you have to put a period at the end of the old sentence. Mm-hmm. A lot of folks that I've worked with over the years that have kids, especially very young, just want that kid to come along with this life they wanted to have. They kept saying things like, when things just get back to normal or the way they were. We remember dating at 19. We were teenagers, like 2 years, right? 2 years ago, we were teenagers. And now you have another human that you're responsible for. That's a lot. If you don't put a period in that sentence and say, okay, it was 6 months, it was brief, but it was fun. And now we get to have a new adventure. And that involves you and your husband saying, okay, I'm on a treadmill right now. I'm trying to keep up the way things were and this new thing and whatever's coming next. Too much. Can't do it. So let's reset. Here's what's intentional. Here's what must be true moving forward. How can I best love you today? How can you best love me today in this new world that we have? What do we want our marriage to look like and feel like? And then you start to feel this spark of aliveness come alive in your own life because you have this magic psychological and emotional ignition switch called autonomy, agency. Suddenly you get back in the driver's seat of your own life. Right now you feel like you're in the trunk of your own life. Everyone is telling you what to do and you're just getting dragged around the neighborhood.
Yeah. It's like just so much has changed, and I know that that's obvious, but our life looked so different, and we had like all these crazy things happen in our first year of marriage, and even like our engagement and stuff. And I feel like life has just been going like I feel like hit with stuff that you don't normally have to deal with. Engaged in our first year of marriage, and then
like what?
We're in like the well, so when I was engaged, I ended up leaving my family's house after a really big fight with my mom, and it wasn't planned, and we weren't my husband and I weren't living together because we wanted to wait till we were married to live together. So I was like living with a friend, and then we got married, and some really big crazy stuff happened with his business. He's an entrepreneur, and then he was like having to figure out so much, and that actually we got news of like the stuff with the business happening on our honeymoon.
Good stuff or bad stuff? Lost the business? It
bad stuff.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, like big team stuff that happened that shouldn't have happened.
Okay.
And that was on our honeymoon. And then we were still like dealing with the aftermath of that when we found out we were pregnant. Okay. And yeah, just like financially we were pretty worried. And then we found out we're having a baby. And then preparing for that baby, I feel like we just like haven't had our feet really under us like this whole time. And then like right now, like things are stabling out, and that's really nice. But I feel like now that things are stabilizing, it just feels like it's all kind of catching back up with me.
It is. It is. So think about this. The tornado sirens started going off in your town, and you've been under a mattress in a bathtub. And finally the all clear is happening. And you knock the mattress off the bathtub and you get out, and now y'all are walking outside. And you're squinting when you've been inside for a long time, and suddenly the sun is real bright. And you can see the extent of everything. The thing that was your life is now all over your neighborhood. And you grieve that. Nobody's supposed to find out they got fired on their honeymoon or their business imploded. Y'all were two like we know it all 20-year-olds. And having a baby when you don't have any money wasn't part of that plan. Here we are. Everybody has this fantasy in their head like my mom and dad are going to be my ride or die, especially through our wedding and help us launch. Nobody has a plan for I gotta walk out of my own family home and not look back, right? That's not anybody's plan. It's your house is scattered all over the neighborhood, and y'all survived. You made it. And those nights that you couldn't breathe and you couldn't sleep and you were looking for ways you could feed your baby without your husband having a job, all those things, like you made it. You're here. Here's the beautiful thing. You get to decide what happens next in a context. You get to rebuild your house because another storm will come. You get to rebuild your house smaller, bigger, stronger, in a different location. You all get to decide what that looks like.
Right. I feel like, sorry, I think thinking of things. I feel like we've done a really good job with like everything else in our life, like, you know, our home and our baby and parenting and our marriage. Like we have that intentional time set apart. I really just like, this is the reason that I called about this.
Yeah, but what about
like,
you?
Yeah. I just feel like with my body and stuff, I don't know why it's such a point of contention for myself. Like, I just feel like I'm really mean.
Yes, you are. But if you think about it, you're underwater, holding your breath, trying to make sure everybody else's head is above water. Make sure this marriage is above water. Make sure everything's above water, and you're going to drown in the process.
I've been trying not to.
I know.
I've got a class I'm taking to have time away from the baby and do something I enjoy, and I try and like work out regularly and eat well, like take care of myself.
As you're leaving, all those things are good. Those are good actions. But as you're leaving and that baby's crying and has got arms outstretched, it's the story you tell yourself from letting your baby go till you get to the class. Good moms don't leave screaming babies. If I would just do X, Y, and Z, I wouldn't have to leave my baby and go to this stupid class.
Right.
If I could just, I'm not pretty enough for my husband. And now it's 10 o'clock at night, he's asleep, or 11 o'clock at night, and he's down a rabbit hole, or you're down a rabbit hole. When we get off this call, yeah. I want you to put your fist in your chest, and I want you to go look in the mirror. You may have heard me tell people to do this before. But I want you to put your fist in your chest, and I want you to go into your bathroom mirror, and I want you to look yourself dead in the eyes, and I want you to say the words, I love this woman. And if you're like me, that's one of the hardest, weirdly hardest things I've ever done. It was bizarre. And I had to start keeping a small journal, writing down things that I respected and honored about myself. And some days it was harder than others. And some days I just went and did the next right thing because I knew I would be a different guy for my wife or my kids, people that I quote unquote cared about more than myself.
I feel like I do things that I know that I would respect, but I feel like they're just kind of on autopilot. You know, it's like I don't feel like I could write down things that I respect because I don't know if I do them like authentically, you know?
Because you're too stuck in feeling right now. It's the curse of your generation. How do I feel about this? How do I feel about this? How do I feel about this? Well, I thought this was going to feel different. I thought being a mom was going to feel different. I thought being 8 pounds overweight and not being so amazed at what my body just did, it made a human. And like, I thought it was going to feel all different, and it doesn't. You often act your way into feelings because feelings are just a response about safety.
Right.
And so I hate to say this, but sometimes fake it till you make it's a good thing. And so the mission is, I have to commit in a disciplined type fashion to talking to and about myself in a different story. I've got to talk to myself at least as good as I talk to the woman working the counter at the Kroger. And I've got to be honest about the things that make me feel alive in my own skin, in my own home, in my own house. And I have to negotiate those with my husband. We have to sit down at a table and say, hey, here's what this is. And you're doing a class, you're doing this, but that's not what makes you feel alive. That's what you think 22-year-old moms are supposed to do. So that you lose 8 pounds. So suddenly the sun comes up. That's just not going to work that way. And it might be getting to the bottom of the way your husband used to look at you, or might get to the bottom of, man, I've struggled with disordered eating for a long time. I need to go see a specialist, because that is a truly devastating journey, struggling with disordered eating. It's being honest about that. You're going through the motions in a really admirable way. And my challenge to you is, let's get beneath the motions. Let's get beneath the feelings. What is actually true here? Spend some time with yourself, with a journal, with your husband. Let's get beneath the thing. What is it about the life that we have right now that we can reignite and find aliveness and sensuality and eros in our own home, in this world that we're building? Whew. And surely in that world, I'm worth an hour so that I can show up and be the person I want to be. Then the whole thing flips on its head. And those 8 pounds will do what those 8 pounds are going to do. But more than that, when you lose 8 pounds and you show up, you'll be who you want to be. Thanks for the call, El. I'm excited to hear about your adventure here. Call me back anytime.